Shalom Aleichem, my dear brothers and sisters. Today I want to present to you what I think is an undeniable proof the divinity of the Talmud, or what we sometimes call as the Oral Torah. Now the Talmud was written about 1500 years ago. It was sealed. And in the volume called Mesechet Brachot, on page 32, the Talmud actually gives us the number of stars in the world, meaning in the universe. And the Talmud actually mentions this as a side point. It discusses, a certain relationship between the Jewish people and God, where the Jews are complaining, and he answers them in a very interesting way. And God says, this is what the Talmud records, that I've created 12 constellations. For each of those constellations, I created 30 commanders. I'm not sure how to even translate these terms exactly. It basically breaks down the different parts, but let me finish and then I think you'll understand the point. Then he says, for each of those 30 commanders, I've created 30 legions. For each of those legions, I've created 30 raton, which I'm not even going to try to translate. I'm not sure what that means. For each of those 30 raton, I've created 30 karaton. And then for each of those 30 karaton, I've created 30 kastera. And then for each of those 30, I've created 3.65 million stars. For each of those 30, there are 3.65 million stars. So how do you get the number of all the stars, not just for those 30? So basically what you have to do is you have to times everything, multiply everything. So the first thing was 12 constellations, then 30 army commanders. That's the way. I'm not sure even if that's the correct translation, but that's the name that it gives. Then for each of those 30 legions, for each of those 30 raton, for each of those 30 karaton, and for each of those 30 kastera, and for each of those 30, there's 3.65 million stars. So to get the total number of stars, you have to 12 times 30 times 30 times 30 times 30 and times 3.65 million. Now if you do that, you get a huge number. You get a number which is equals to 1064340 and followed by 12 zeros. It's basically a number that's over 10 to the 18th power. Now remember one thing, back in the days, before the telescopes, with a naked eye, a person could see, I heard somewhere that the Greeks counted about 4,000 something stars. With a naked eye, a person can see about 4,000 plus stars. However, with the creation of a telescope, with the Hubble telescope actually, not just regular telescope, with the Hubble telescope, the scientists were able to look much deeper into the universe, because the Hubble telescope actually was the first telescope that was in space. So there's no atmosphere, that interferes. It's a telescope, and they were able to view much further into the universe. And the scientists today give several estimates of the total number of stars. Now, obviously, these are estimates. It's really impossible to even probably come close to the actual number of stars. They say that the number of stars is more than the sand particles on all of the Earth. So you can imagine this is a huge number. It's, to even estimate it is probably a big stretch. But anyways, the scientists have estimates today. Now I've checked 3 estimates so far. So one estimate I've checked from space.com. The number they give is 10 to the 24th power. Now remember, the Talmud gives us 10 to the 18th power plus. The space.com gives us an estimate 10 to the 24th power. The NASA gives us an estimate of 10 to the 22nd power. I'm sorry, 10 to the 21st power. That's NASA. And then there's another website called livescience.com. And livescience.com gives us an estimate 10 to the 19th power. Blessed be his name. So the Talmud gives us 10 to the 18th power, over 12 to the 18th power, a little bit more than that. 1500 years ago, before all the telescopes, before all the technology, before humanity even had the idea of such a concept called estimates. And the Talmud gives us this number. And to me, this is just, this is just the amazing aspect of the oral Torah. And this just shows that this information is in fact divine. If somebody can give me a rebuke and tell me how the rabbis 1500 years ago could have known the number of stars in the heaven, in the universe, without having any telescopes, how they could have possibly known this, I would really like to hear in the comments section. Thank you for watching.